Well, happy Wednesday. Welcome to another conversation on Recipe for Your Life when we talk about your ingredients and inspiration for success. My name is Tonya. I'm the Dream Coach and the host. I am also the founder of Society of Women Business Owners magazine and directory. Today, I have the pleasure and opportunity in speaking with Miss Indira Wilburn. Hi, Miss Indira.
Hey Tanya, how are you?
I am awesome. So great. Today we are, you good?
Yeah, it was some feedback. That was weird.
Really?
Yeah,
Feedback from my end?
I don't know. I could hear it, but I don't hear it now. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay,
You wanna roll or stop? What you wanna do?
we're gonna roll.
We're gonna go? All right. All right. Well, technical difficulties happen because this is real life, real video.
Right?
So let's continue on. So I was checking out your bio, and what I realized is that you have two different lanes you roll in. You have your engineer lane, and then you have your radio personality lane. So I want to first tap into your engineer lane just for a second. Give us a little bit talk about that and what that entailed.
All right. Fun fact: when I was a kid, I used to always be able to fix things. Like if there was something broken in the house, I would fix it and it would work. And I suppose that my father at the time was thinking, she might have a technical kind of brain. And even when I was in high school, he encouraged me to go into engineering. Now, I had no idea which field of engineering I wanted to go in. And it wasn't probably until like my first semester of college that I decided to choose civil engineering. But that's how I got started. Like I'm that way. I'm a tech savvy kind of person, and it doesn't take me long to figure something out. And I love that about me.
Yeah, I think when I first met you, which has been a long time, it's been over 10 years. I
I
think
know, right?
you were working and doing the engineer thing, and then you started branching off to the voice, as I've always called you. From the time I met her, I've always said, girl, the voice, your voice is it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the voice.
Okay, this is so funny how all this stuff kind of goes back to my father. He had that voice too, and it's so funny that my sister and I have a deeper toned voices, and people pick up on that like real easy. I don't remember that as like a kid, but definitely high school. I was like, okay, I got this, a deeper voice than most young ladies. And let's see, he used to read to us in like poetry and stuff like that. So, he had the voice. And I think, honestly, that he probably wanted to do radio or something like that too. Although his background was in television, because he used to work for a couple of television stations here in Chicago. But yeah, I think, probably my radio work, he lived through that, which was kind of cool. But
Oh,
yeah, I didn't really, let's see, I've always liked music because we always had music playing in the house. My father was the biggest jazz fan on earth. My poor mama, I guess she got to sneak in her music however she wanted to when he wasn't listening to jazz all the time. And I always wanted to be honest, even though I was a technical person, I wanted to figure out how I could infuse music or entertainment or something in like a work path for me. And I didn't know how I was going to get that to happen. So my first job out of college, I worked for the Department of Transportation in Michigan. And, I was working as an engineer and I was able to meet a friend. He owned this is back old school, he owned a record and tape shop. And so when I would go in there, I would, ask him, like, what's the new music on the scene and that kind of thing. And I told him that I really wanted to do something music, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. And he said, hey, I have a friend that is leaving the radio station, the local radio station where I live. And he said, you should come.
mm-hmm.
I'll introduce you to some people and I'm going to leave the rest to you. And I said, bet, I can handle that. Just get me in the room and I'll finesse it and then I'll make some stuff happen. I happened to meet the program director for the radio station that evening and we got to talking and he said, hey, I have an opening for a radio position. You should come and interview or send me your resume and we'll see what happens. And I, I was so excited about the opportunity, but, I have a bad habit of second guessing, things that are presented on a plate. When I say I want something, I'm all like, oh, that can't be it. And I'm like, girl, that's it. So I sent him my resume. He called me like a month later and he said, hey, we got a spot on Saturdays that's open from 6 to 10. Do you want it? And I said, let me think about it. Again, goofy. And so, a week went by and I said, yeah, I want it. And so I was like basically an engineer from Monday through Friday, and Saturday mornings, I was a radio personality. So I got to finally be able to infuse the music part that I love so much into my life as like a career path, kind of.
And I'm kind of glad you saying it. So you basically was working almost 7 days a week. You was giving some time to your primary position, and then you were jumping into your goal, your gifts, I should say. And so what was that like? Because a lot of times when I speak with people who are looking to start their business, they don't understand that you have to, even sometimes you can't just quit your job
Right.
when you're looking at trying to go into your dream and your gift. That you have to sacrifice and do both. So what was that like for you, being Monday through Friday and then jumping into something on the weekends? Like, what was that really like? What, the stress? I mean, talk about that a little bit.
I want to actually be clear. They're both gifts. It was just how I was going to be able to have them present either at the same time or just I would infuse them both in my life. And I didn't really understand that that's what happened until like maybe now. So, you know, Monday through Friday, I went to work. And then, basically Saturday mornings, I got up early because my shift was like 6 in the morning. So
Okay.
I got up at like 5 and then I
Mhm.
got myself together. I mean, I'm not going to say it was stressful, but I was very anxious. Probably
Okay.
the first year of doing it. And I did it for like 2.5 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, my stomach was very unsettled. And I'll leave it there
Okay.
for the
All right. All right.
but
So one thing, I want to talk about challenges when it comes to your arena. What do you find that the challenge would be, or if there are any challenges with being a radio personality?
well, that was a good thing. I'm glad that you mentioned that because when you were saying about your gift, let's be clear, the two pay rates were not the same. Engineering money is, longer money than entertainment, radio,
Mhm.
broadcasting, and that kind of thing. I think
Mhm.
at the time, because again, that was the late 90s, because I started working with the radio station in 98.
Mhm.
And, I think the reason why it was fun is because I got to tap into my passion, right? And I didn't need to worry about it being the primary source of income for me because I had my engineering job.
Mhm.
So working there wasn't a challenge. I think the the small challenge was not being distracted by the things that were happening sometimes. They might have daytime remotes. Somebody might be in town and I would be at work, the daytime hours. And maybe I snuck away and didn't feel good during the day. And then I'd sneak over to the radio station and see what was
Okay.
uh I did that. You know what I mean? And I didn't make that too I didn't make that a habit. You know what I mean? Like I would do that from time to time because again, the breadwinner job was the engineering job, not the radio station job. But I
Okay.
loved them equally. I
So
did.
now have that reversed where your engineer is second and now your voice is number one.
The career path for broadcasting and engineering has been very long, right? So I
Mhm.
think there were periods in my life where it flip flopped, right? So
Mhm.
I worked in engineering in Michigan, and then I moved because I moved to Philly where I met you, right?
Mhm.
And so it was a period of time in my life when the music scene in Philadelphia was popping. And
Mhm.
I said, working in this small town in Michigan, if I don't leave now to pursue what I think I may want for my life, I might not get another chance. Because living in a small town is the kind of thing where, oh, I got the job, I'll have a pension, I'll get married, have kids, and then I may not ever get to
Mm-hmm.
do what I think I may want to do.
Mm.
So I took the leap and I just went. I sold my house and then I moved to Philly. No job, just moved. You know what I mean? Hook or crook. You know what I'm saying? So when I first moved to Philly, I took a couple of odd jobs and
Mm-hmm.
I went back into engineering because it was something that I could do. Thank God, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
thankful that I had an engineering degree that I could fall back on if the broadcasting thing took a little bit longer time to get involved in. However, because I'm always looking for opportunities, I ended up going to a community college in Philadelphia, and I took like a communications class. And the instructor, we got to talking, and in the course of the class, she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "You have a really great voice. Have you ever thought about doing voiceover work?"
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't really know what that was, and I was like, "Well, explain to me exactly what does a voiceover artist do?" And so, she went into that a little bit, commercials and that kind of thing. And I think even then it wasn't as broad as it is now, because now you voiceover work could be jingles, it can be commercials, it could be, people's outgoing messages for businesses, it could be audio for books now, video games. So it's expanded tremendously from, early 2000 to what it is now in
Right.
2023.
Right.
But anyway, she encouraged me to consider doing voiceover work, on the side, of course. And I ended up connecting with someone who actually started her own voiceover company. And I
Oh,
was a talent on her roster for her company.
oh,
And she
awesome.
got to send me out on a lot of good jobs. So I got my name out there a little bit. And then, too, people know, even though I was working in engineering, because at that point, when I moved to Philadelphia, I connected with a Black owned business that was construction management. So they did a lot of construction management for the airport, the Philadelphia airport.
Mm-hmm.
So I was consulting with the airport on a lot of jobs. So with the voiceover, I was on the young ladies talent roster, and then I would drive or get on the bus to New York, and I would do a lot of training so I could be better at what I was doing. So then I got to meet more people, and then there were more opportunities with that too. So again, I took advantage of the closeness to Philadelphia to New York,
Mm-hmm.
to get some training and to be better at the voiceover craft.
So I'm glad you mentioned like the classes and those things, because that's the other thing I was going to talk about. When we talk about ingredients and the things that are going to help us to get more into our craft, would you suggest, like you said, you took some classes to work on that? What else would you suggest?
To be honest, I think the communications class was really good because it's how you communicate, right?
Right.
You need to have inflection, how you talk, you know, like you and I were using our hands a lot as we communicate with each other in this interview. And so you want to be able to use that in a professional manner. Sometimes when to increase the volume when you're talking and to be really soft when you're talking, depending on your audience, depending on the job and all that kind of thing. But if you want to be good at something, you need, like, people think that education stops at like a 4-year degree or a master's degree or a
Yes, they
PhD. And if
do.
you want to be good at something, you need to
Yes.
expand your knowledge base. And I
Yes.
think that the continuing education and the things that matter for you, even for things that you're interested in, whether it's painting or any hobby that you may want to do more of that. Go to those classes. People offer all whole kinds of stuff. And again, now there's like meetups, and you got groups that people create online and all this kind of stuff. It's all kind of opportunities out here to do more and expand your knowledge base and different things.
I remember I took a communication class, but I took it for something different way back then.
What
I
did you
took
take?
it because I was always so afraid of speaking in front of people. I mean, I was that kid in class. If you called my name, I'm going to bust out crying. Now,
I can't even imagine that.
right. But the crazy part was that I was Dear Abby in the class. In the sixth grade, I was Dear Abby.
Hi,
So
dear.
I'm still kind of doing what I was gifted to do. But
Yeah.
when you put me in front, I was like, oh no. So I did that in community college. I went to CCP as well. And that was one of the classes I took. I said, I'm going to take public speaking communication because I am so fearful. And because of going to be a nurse, I figured I'm going to have to speak with people and their families, and I'm not going to be able to do it. So I took that class for that, but it has helped me with the things that I'm doing now because I took that class way back then.
Hmm.
So I totally agree with, that being one of the ingredients that we need is education to propel us in the direction we're going. Uh, there's always a lot that we do as entrepreneurs, and it's a lot on you. How do you continue to inspire yourself and do self-care?
Even when I was in high school, I loved to dance. I still consider myself J Lo's cousin. With the In Living Color, the Fly Girls.
Right.
In high school, I would dance. Myself and some friends, we did a talent show and won. And then I met some other dance fans in college, and we also had a group together. We would dance at the different talent shows, battling the guys because they thought they were better than us, and we won. I'm still the type of person who I feel that energy of the music. And I think that's the reason why I needed to go to Philly when I left, Michigan, because I needed to be around that energy, the people, and it's everything to me, really. It's like one of the five senses. It's music for me.
Okay.
So dancing, and I enjoy Zumba, and I do that now. Although I'm not a part of LA Fitness like I used to be, so I don't get a chance to enjoy it as much. But this summer, I did get a chance to get down to the class and do it like a drop in. But I do. I also know that working out is essential for my peace of mind. It helps me like ease the stress out that I've had in a day. And so, what would you say? We didn't call it working out. We called it bodybuilding because one of the ladies who taught class today, she was like, "We're building bodies in here, so we're not working out. We're bodybuilding," and I
Okay.
like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it
All
does a
right.
body good, girl.
Do you have any kind of things you start your day off with to stay motivated?
Yeah, I definitely love. There are some YouTube channels that I follow, and they have some of the I'm not going to say affirmations. Now I do listen to those and say those to myself to get the day started. But it's mostly music because I also realize, like I said before, um, the megahertz in music helps kind of get you in a certain kind of frame of mind,
Mhm.
and it allows me to be able to be more calm sometimes. Because like now, since this month, we have a lot of AM classes, and I have a
Mhm.
bad habit of just jumping out of the bed when
Mhm.
sometimes I need to take like at least 5 minutes and calm
Mhm.
myself, think about the day, what I look to, complete and what I look to enjoy in the day and go about it. So yeah, definitely affirmations, music that kind of gets me in tune to being a centered kind of person.
Okay.
And so yeah,
Who is your ideal client or customer?
one that pay on time. Okay. Let's see.
I
I'm
like
so
that.
serious, right? So serious. Uh, Definitely someone who knows what they want from a voiceover artist, right? I recently, well, not recently, but a year ago, I signed on to a talent agency to kind of put myself in front of more opportunities for voiceover work. Because what they do is they'll submit you a request. I do the voiceover, I submit it, and if they like the voice, then they pick you. So in that regard, when someone selects you or me in this example as a voiceover artist, I know exactly what I'm doing. I have a script and everything. But if there's someone, for instance, I had a friend that referred me to someone. He has a after school program for young people. And
Mhm.
so what he said to me was, I know exactly what I want, but I need to kind of have it on paper so that I can kind of have a script together for you and those kind of things. So if you know what you want and you know that the requirement is to have me read something, then you'll need to have that together. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I could use you for a voiceover work. Okay, for what? Do you have a project? Is there a commercial that you're looking to do? Are you looking to, I had a friend from college, he resourced me out for a voiceover job. And what he was looking for is his, him and his wife have a mental health complement to like insurance. So for people who are looking for all sorts of coverage, medical and
Mm-hmm.
eye and that, they also have mental health support as a complement. And so what he asked me to do like a welcome video for all the people who have become part of the network.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, most of my experience has been doing like short 30-second, 60-second, maybe 3 minutes. But this welcome video was on Zoom. It was like a Zoom presentation, and it was like 18 minutes. That definitely took me out of my comfort zone because, of course, you had to read the whole script like with no, you couldn't mess up. Like I couldn't start and stop. And yeah, it took about a week. Luckily, he didn't need it really fast, but he was going out of town. So we were a little bit pressed for time to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate him. First of all, I've been looking to kind of expand my business outside of just commercials, right? Because I think that I can do a lot of technical related um, voiceover work because I have that background. So I don't want to be limited to just, commercials in that regard.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the ideal customer, someone who knows what they want and can present it in such a way that I want you to do this, that, and the third. This is the pay rate, or it could be negotiated, and then we go and do the work. That's the ideal customer.
Okay. You mentioned network. I like that word. What does that mean? What is network? How important is that in becoming a business owner or, putting yourself out there or just daily? What is network? How does that really?
Network is essential because you're not an island of yourself, right? A lot of times we need other people to help, push us along, help us excel in what we're looking to do. Um, People know people, right? I'm here in a space that is a networking space. So it's a co-working space. So there's other people who come in, they have offices here. So even if I'm here doing this interview with you, I ran into the owner and, she was saying, oh, like later on, it's going to be a few of us who are members that's going to be getting together and you should come join us. And I was like, great, I get to be in front of more people. That's
Yes.
the network. That's the
Yes.
connection. First of all, you're a connector, right? Because even knowing you've connected me with other people through Sobo, and it's been a wonderful experience. And I'm so happy that and so grateful that I met you. But
Oh,
that's network.
same here, darling.
You know what I mean?
But you're
So
right.
yeah,
Network is so important because as I was speaking with someone the other day, they were a little frustrated because the network they currently are in, they can't get any motivation because why? They're not like-minded. These are
absolutely.
not people who are on the same path you're on. So your network, you need to have that because you need like-minded people that you can have the conversation with when you get frustrated about things that's going on in your business. You can't speak with someone who's only doing a 9 to 5. They're not going to understand, you
We are
know,
not the same.
we're not the same. I tell people sometimes I wake up and I have to write stuff down as soon as I wake up because my brain is constantly going. Um, People who probably are working a 9 to 5, they shut their brain off after 5 o'clock and turn on the television. They have no idea what it means and the things that an entrepreneur mind goes through. So you need to have that like-minded community to be able to vent sometime, connect. You might need to cry sometime. You
Yeah.
may need, yes, you need that community.
Let me tell you, your network is your net worth.
On my website.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I think that as we grow and evolve, we have to include and maybe exclude people in our circles. And if you running around with chicken heads, man, you're gonna be a chicken. But I like to soar with eagles, so I stay where the eagles fly. Okay.
And it's nothing wrong with the chickens.
It's not, because sometimes them chickens, we have a good time, child.
Right. But you just have to know when to have your chickens and when you got to have the eagles. So
Right.
it's good to
Absolutely.
have a combination of both.
Yeah,
But you
yeah, we
definitely,
have to expand your
yeah,
circle to that.
yes,
It's a
yes,
multitude of energies and people and
yes.
backgrounds. Like, that's great. And I wasn't trying to say anything facetious about that. And I
No,
know
no,
you.
no. No, I know you weren't, but we have other people that may listen that may take that like, what do you mean about that?
Yeah,
So no, you need those. You need different categories of people. I
yeah, in
have
your
a
life.
joke with my friends, and I say first line, second line, third line, friends. And it's not that any friend is less than the other, but some friends are just not going to get the same information as maybe some others, or the same invite. I don't know, but you have different levels, and I think that's the same in your network of people. You have
Yes,
friends that you're just going to hang out and party with, and then you have those friends that are in business that when you need to talk about something, they can relate to that issue. So it's
yes,
just great to have that network of different people.
yeah.
Is there anything that we did not discuss that you think that either someone in your industry that's looking to either step into that um, personality, radio, voice arena, or just someone who's just looking to start their business? Is there anything that you would like to share that we did not discuss?
A couple of things. We're moving into a new world with technology, and the things that we used to be able to do, you have to do it differently. So sometimes, and I was just telling a friend of mine earlier today, I said, I have become the queen of pivot, so that you might as well call me Alvin Ailey, child, because I be moving, you know, pivoting or whatever. So I just say that to say, I think, especially in regard to broadcasting, you used to be able to just go to the radio station, give them your little air check tape and say, hey, I want to be on the radio. But
Mhm.
now we have the opportunity you can be heard, but it can be in a different format. There's YouTube now, there's social media now. So you can kind of put yourself in front of people, and millions of people now. Not just, I mean, before it was just the listening audience, right? The radio. But now you get to be in front of so many people. Take advantage of technology. And again, me being a techie person, I have to say that because I live that, right?
Right.
And so sometimes you need to expand how you want to, I don't know, like, be in the world, right? And I think that if, again, with education, and again, it doesn't have to be the traditional sense. There's so many certificate programs out here to do things that you could do it. Just go out there and do it. Don't be afraid. Ask for help. Tap into your network so you can get that network popping, money in your pocket. And I think that if you do that, then you'll be great. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Great, great, great words. And I'm hoping that someone takes some of these ingredients that we talked about and add them into your little pot to get your things going, and or get just some more motivation, because sometimes you just need some extra motivation along the way. I read a lot of entrepreneur magazines, and I read them just for that. I read them not so much to see what they're doing. Sometimes I want to see when a person has really hit rock bottom and what did they do to come back, because the road to success is so rocky. It's not straight, it's very rocky and it's very rough, and you have to really be strong to be in this path of wanting to be successful. And and I mean, success for many is defined different ways, so we all define success differently. But for us that are trying to pave the path of where we are doing this thing on our own and not depending on someone else's paycheck, it's it can be rough. And
And
so yes, and so I thank you for those words of encouragement, and hopefully someone really can use them.
yeah, and don't give up. Equally as
Yes,
important.
yes,
Stay resilient. never give up because
Yes.
sometimes and social media is so good for that. You see someone going from zero to hero, but a lot of the things that happen in the background, people don't know. And maybe you don't need to let them know everything, all the bumps along the way, but just be truthful. I think that, we put on this one face for social media and then there's another face in real life. You
Right.
know what I mean? But I think that if you find someone or some more than one person that you can tap into that'll help you get business going and keep you motivated, whatever that may be for you, to do that.
Right. And
Don't
that's
stop.
and that's why I like this particular platform because like you said, social media, you see this one face and everybody is a millionaire and they didn't made it, but you don't get a chance to really hear the conversations of the struggle from zero to when you've made it and the things in between and some different advice and different things. So, that's why I like this platform of being able to speak with someone to talk about the different struggles and the different things that you may encounter and what you have done to overcome those things to continue on in your gift and your goals, your dreams. So thank you, Miss Indira. This was a wonderful conversation. And if someone want to continue this conversation with you because they have this particular gift, how do they reach you?
Well, I can be at lolastarmedia.com. That's LOLASTAR media, MEDIA.com. I'm also in Sobo Magazine, and you can also find me on Instagram at Lola Star Media.
Thank you, Miss Indira, for this great interview.
My absolute pleasure.
And again, please tell us how you can be reached.
You can find me on Instagram at Lola Star Media. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And my website is lolastarmedia.com.
Awesome. And she's also in Sobo Magazine. Stop by the uh, website, punch her up, look at her profile, and reach out if you need her.
Yes,
Again,
please.
I want to thank you guys for tapping in. If you tapped in today and you're watching Miss Lola Star, did I say that correct?
You did.
Okay. And again, we're going to sign off, but I want to thank you for listening and thank you today. And remember, do not take your dreams to the grave because the grave can't do anything with them.